The internet says that I need more lights and better lighting. However, my wife and wallet both tend to disagree. And when those two agree, this guy does not win. Welcome back to another episode of the Print Layer Playhouse with your host, Mr. Playhouse. That is yours truly here. Wow, this lighting definitely looks a heck of a lot better here. I think you would definitely agree to that. And if you don't, well, let's take you back in time and see what it looked like before. But I need to invest in some studio lighting. As you can tell here, the lighting setup is not the best. During Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Prime Day, every sale I could imagine, I looked into upgrading my lights a little bit, just a little bit. Try to get some directional light control, get a hood on there, get an egg crate. I looked into that. Amazon best price I could find without a sale was $40. The best price I could find with a sale was about $34. So that solution wasn't going to work for me. Currently, I use 4 of these lights right here. The downside to using these is that, well, there's no light shaping. There's tons of spill. There's tons of bleed. There's tons of not good things. For those of you not into lighting, you can see it still doesn't look that great. The hood in question, as I previously mentioned, was $40. That assumed you already had a studio light. Well, the cheapest one I could find was $100. It wasn't inexpensive. I love inexpensive. Inexpensive is awesome. At the bare minimum, I was looking at spending $140. I'm sorry. I love this hobby. Do you know how much filament I could buy for $140? 10 kilos of that sweet filament. I'm looking at buying nothing. I'm trying to use what I already have or spend the least amount of money possible to get something that approximates the look of those studio lights. And here's what I came up with. I've already got these studio lights. They cost me about $8. I bought them from Menards. Now, you can also find these on Amazon. I'll have that linked down below. Then the next thing I needed to do was buy a light bulb. And not just any light bulb would do. It needs to be a bright light bulb. Now, I don't know if you could tell, this is a decent sized light bulb. For context, this is a regular sized LED. And this is the LED she tells you not to worry about. All jokes aside, this LED is about 3 times as powerful in terms of raw lumens. The light bulb will run you about $11. After that, we're going to need a little bit of foil tape to line the inside of the hood that we are designing and printing here. That foil tape will run you about $5. Then the roll of PETG, so $12. What I'm trying to do is design a piece that goes right over the top of an existing plastic housing for the light bulb to plug into, to screw into. The hood is going to be about 260 millimeters diameter at the end. It's going to be about 180 millimeters tall. The K1C has a build volume of 220 by 220. That 280 does not fit. So this will be cut into several pieces. We'll have the majority of the hood assembly and then a few pieces around the edge that we will have to glue together. On top of that, I'll be designing an egg crate diffuser that will allow me to better control the light and make this ugly mug look much prettier. All right, so the first thing you're going to need is one of these hoods. Second thing you'll need is a pair of tin snips. I found the angled ones a little easier to use than the straight ones in this situation. You'll need a pair of channel locks to be able to kind of crimp down the metal edges that you cut here. This hood is rolled aluminum, and if you know anything about aluminum and cutting it, very sharp, very easy to slice your fingers. So I recommend you use caution. Couple reasons why I'm cutting this off rather than trying to design it. One, the detail is so fine that the 3D printer, even if I use my 0.2 millimeter nozzle, it's not going to work. So I'm going to spend more time fighting with the machine and fighting with the print than I will just cutting this piece, rolling it, and crimping it, and just using it from there. That is going to be what holds the hood to the light fixture. And what you're going to end up with is a much nastier version of this guy right here. You can kind of see the thin threading right here. Whoop, right there. There's a little bit of thin threading right there. Very hard to do. What I did, and you can see from here, is I ended up folding it over backwards on itself. And that better helps with, well, me not slicing my finger open, because the thin aluminum like this generally demands a blood sacrifice. After that, it was on to the design work, and version 1.0 looked pretty good until I realized that version 1.0 does not fit with the ring. It's supposed to sit all the way down at the bottom there. It does not, but it sits about an inch, which would be about 25 millimeters above the base where it actually needs to sit. So that does not happen. That's not good. Version 2.0, much larger, much bigger, much closer to what I was looking for. Unfortunately, it was far too deep. What I hadn't realized, while this ring sits in there perfectly flush, when you actually screw it to the fixture, it's going to set up about 10 millimeters because I forgot to account for the 10 millimeters. Version 3.0. Figured that one out pretty well. Look at that, sits down perfect. Version 4, I thought could use a little bit of ventilation. So I have these 3 millimeter holes going all the way through that are a little challenging to see, but they go all the way through. Looks very similar. Version 4 looks very similar to version 3 because it basically is, with a little added ventilation. What's an even better idea? More holes. Check this thing out. It looks, well, these holes are bigger, and now it looks like Swiss cheese. These holes here will definitely help with dissipating the heat, even more so from this giant light bulb that she tells you not to worry about. We've got our part designed, and this is one of the pieces. There are 5 total pieces, including the main body of the hood, the rest of the hood that will go on to the edge of this, just like that, finishing it out. You may notice that there is a flat spot right here, right at the end of this hood, and that is to be able to fit our egg crate diffuser. Just like that, it's going to slip on together so I can be able to remove it, put it back together. It's gonna be great. The only part that you would really need to sand on this PETG is just the edges here where the pieces will come together, just like that, just so the 2-part epoxy, the JB Weld for plastic, as long as you have that, clean it off with a little bit of rubbing alcohol, make sure everything's all hunky-dory, everything will stick together nice and neat. Now this is the egg crate, as I showed off a little bit before. Made it with the fuzzy skin because I was trying to cut down on weird reflections. Fuzzy skin helps absorb the light and focus it straight exactly where I want to go. So let's go ahead, mix up some epoxy, and glue this all together. We've got our pieces all right here, and our JB Weld all right here. To grab the little included tongue depressor, popsicle stick, whatever. Now you're only going to need a little bit. Make sure you get both here. You got to start the clock once you start mixing it here. We've got 6 minutes. So just putting it on the edge right there. Got that piece. Grab my 2 pieces. Grab my jig essentially. And alakazoo, alakazam. Our parts are finally assembled. One thing I would have done different with this is made some little joiners or little spots where this could easily have attached to each other, but with how thin this is, it was quite the pain in the behind. Just like this, right like that. Perfect. Or so I hope. Well, I guess the only thing left to do now is to let it dry. I've got a 15-pound weight on it, holding it hopefully round. All right, I'm back. It's been a couple hours. I've let everything cure. As you can see right here, we're going to take this off. And holy macaroni, everything is together. Nice and beautiful. Ta-da. This is the diffuser. This is the actual light cone. And what we're going to do next, because of some trial and error, the cone is a little narrower than the opening for the egg crate. We now need to add a few things to the material list. What we need are these little heat set inserts right here. There's two different kinds. We've got an M3 by 3 by 5 and an M3 by 4 by 5. And what we're going to do is drill a couple holes in through the sides, in through both of them, which you can see has already been done. So what we're going to do is put another one here, and then same thing opposite from there. The paint is to help me line up things and make sure everything's all right. What you'll also need is some M3 by 8 screws. What you're going to need next is a drill, Dremel, something to be able to pierce through that. It's going to help you a lot, so much. When you go to set those heat set inserts in there, they'll be lined up right off the bat. With your fancy heat set insert attachment, you don't necessarily need that, the attachment. If you do a lot of heat sets, then yes, you absolutely need it. It makes things 10 times easier to line up and get straight and get going. Now, remember, we want these slightly longer ones to go in there into this because the egg crate diffuser is thicker. It's a nice thing. You can grab a pair of needle nose, grab the end of it, kind of hook it on there. And then you're going to want to take one of these smaller, flatter ones and do the same thing with the hood as well. Now that I know that all fits together, I need to make sure that I now take it apart, and we will put in the foil tape. What I'm going to do is just take this, peel it off. It is sticky, it is metallic, and I'm going to start at the bottom and go straight up. And just like that, we have completed the inside, the outside. Now all we have to do is put the egg crate back on, attach it to my light that's right over there, and, well, see the difference. I think that looks a bit better. I don't know. You tell me down in the comments below. Now, all said and done, between the tape, the material, the M3 screws, the heat set inserts, which I've had a bunch of those are pennies on the dollar. We're still well under our $40 target here. We're looking at about $38, $39. And I'd say that's a win because this light is functioning awesome. What do you think? Let me know in the comments down below. Again, all of the tools and materials I used will be in the description down below. Those are Amazon affiliate links. Sometimes being told you can't is a perfect place to start. Thank you all for watching. I can't wait to see you all in the next video.